Hi everybody, I am Reyna Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Reyna Michelle Realty with Keller Williams Raleigh, residential and commercial, and I am here each week on Thursdays live to talk to you about all things real estate. Today I have a special guest with me, Charles West with Endurance Financial, and he will be joining us in a few minutes to give us some tips. So today's topic is about the home buying process. So you're ready to purchase a home. Where do you get started? How does everything work? So today's topic is going to answer all of those questions for you. So where to start in the home buying process? The first thing you need to do is figure out your financing. So some people may be ready to purchase their home with cash, but for the average person, we need to get a mortgage to purchase our home. So the first thing we need to do is get pre-approved for that mortgage. When we are ready to make an offer on our home, we do need to have our pre-approval letter ready to submit with that offer. So we need to have the pre-approval ahead of time for that. We also need to know which price range we should be looking for your new home. So first step is to get pre-approved and determine how much you qualify for and how much you can spend. The next part of the process is to determine how much you should spend versus how much you can spend. So something we do a little bit differently from other buyer's agents here at Reyna Michelle Realty is once you've gotten your pre-approval, we have you do a consultation with Charles West at Endurance Financial, and he will help you to determine how much you should spend versus how much you can spend. So here is Charles with some details for you on that.
Thanks, Reyna. As you were saying, the difference between what you can afford versus what makes sense for you, they're two distinctly different numbers. When you're looking at how much money you're going to spend on your house, you need to look at how the house fits into your overall financial picture and what your other life goals are, not just your goal of getting into a house or solving that one problem of your life. You also need to at least take into some consideration your retirement, making sure that your debt picture looks good. What kind of cars do you want to buy? Vacations, college funding, all of the different things that are big ticket items for your finances play into the picture of how much house you can afford. So generally, when we look at that financial picture for somebody, we're balancing all of those different elements together to make sure that you don't just put all of your money into the housing bucket, that you're actually having a more balanced lifestyle with how you're spending your money. So we can actually make calculations about all of those different goals and then back into the number of how much house makes sense. So when you're looking at that, one thing to keep in mind is to not only look at how big is the house that you're buying, but what kind of neighborhood you're buying into. And how is that going to affect the rest of your lifestyle and where you're going to be spending your money. I hope that covers everything on that part. When we look at sitting down and taking a look at how much house you can afford and looking at that home buying process, we can give you an opinion about whether or not you're getting those elements out of whack or not. And then we can send you back to Reyna to make sure that the numbers actually do work for you and with the mortgage professional that you're working with. So that's pretty much it from our end.
Great. Thank you so much, Charles. That was some really helpful information. And I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much. Everybody, Charles West with Endurance Financial.
Thanks.
Thank you. So once we have gone to Charles West and had our financial consultation, the rest of the home buying process, the next step is to have a buyer consultation. So with the buyer consultation, you sit down with me or we do a Zoom chat and we basically go through the entire home buying process. That way you know exactly what to expect every step of the way. So the first thing we'll do is your buyer needs assessment. We'll have a chat and talk about your life goals, talk about your big why. Why is it that you want to move? Why is it that you want to buy a home? How close do you need to be to work? Maybe to a particular school or church or other sort of community that you're involved in. We also need to discuss what type of neighborhood you'd like to be in. Do you want to live far outside the city and have a lot of yard space and not a lot of neighbors? Or do you want to live close to the city? Do you want to be close to a lot of amenities and people? And also what type of community, as far as, do you want amenities? Do you want to be in a community that maybe provides a pool or a clubhouse? So deciding your type of neighborhood is also something that we'll discuss. And then also your house. So what size house do you want? What style? Do you need a ranch? Do you need a first floor master? Everybody's working from home and a lot of people are doing school from home now. Do you maybe need a home office? Do you need a garage? So we'll take a look at all of those different factors. That way we have an idea of the types of homes that we should be looking for in your home search. We'll also talk about things like expenses. That way you know exactly what to expect up front. So when you're purchasing a home, you will have expenses such as your mortgage closing costs, your attorney closing costs, and you also have things like prepaids for your taxes and your homeowner's insurance. You'll also have deposits to make at the time that you go under contract. So during your consultation, when we have a number and know how much you're planning to spend on the home, then we can estimate all the rest of those numbers and get you some definite figures. That way you know exactly what to expect for the expenses that will be going into your purchase. The other thing we'll talk about is the realtor's fee. So that may be one thing that you're wondering is, how does the buyer's agent get paid? You're already spending a lot of money on a house. Can you, afford to have a realtor represent you? Well, I've got really good news for you. In most cases, the realtor, the buyer's agent, costs nothing to the buyer. Generally, the buyer's agent is paid for by the seller's agent, or if it's new construction, it's generally paid for by the builder. So the fact that the realtors, when you're a buyer, that fee is generally paid for you, definitely, obviously, then you should be certainly taking advantage of that opportunity. Also, you are making a very large purchase, possibly one of the biggest investments that you'll make in your lifetime. So it's definitely important to make sure that you have an expert leading you through that process, negotiating for you on your behalf, and making sure that your investment in the start to your new home is set up for success. The other thing we'll talk about during the buyer consultation is a little bit of paperwork. We will go through the purchase agreement and take a look at the main points and explain everything. That way you'll know exactly what to expect and already have all your questions answered when it's time for us to make an offer. The other thing we'll talk about during the buyer consultation is the process from contract to close. So from the time that you have an offer accepted to the time that you close, what to expect during that time for due diligence, for inspections, and everything else that you should be doing and preparing during that time. So once we have figured out your financing. You have sat down with Charles and discussed your finances and decided how much you should spend on your home. And we've talked through the buyer consultation and determined where and what type of house you are looking for. And we've familiarized you with the entire process and answered all your questions. Then it is time to go house shopping. Woo! So this is the home buying process. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I am Reyna Michelle, Realtor. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can also feel free to reach out to Charles West with Endurance Financial should you have any questions. And I would like to invite all of you to please join me on Tuesday, October 20th for the blood drive. It's going to be in North Hills at my office. So please come out and join us for the blood drive. Even if you're not able to donate blood, we're going to be outside in the parking lot, socially distanced. We have By the Grace Bakery there with her sweet treats. 50% of those proceeds goes to our veterans organization, Stopgap for Heroes. And we've also got Bert Lawson, the party insurance guy, there with his DJ booth. He'll be playing some nice music for us. So come out and socialize. Say hi to some friends you haven't seen in a while. Make some new friends. Grab a sweet treat. Enjoy some nice music. And if you are able to donate blood, please sign up for your 15-minute time slot in the link below and help us save lives. And with each blood donation, $10 goes to our veterans organization, Stopgap for Heroes. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday the 20th and next week on live on Thursday. Thanks, everyone.